Welcome to the show, Jethro Sheeran. You are a musician, producer, rapper, and model known by the professional name Alonestar. Initially starting your career with Storm Model Agency, you appeared in worldwide commercials such as Calvin Klein and Coca-Cola and various pop videos. You then signed with EMI and released Warrior, an EP featuring Jar Jar Sos and your cousin Ed Sheeran on the track All Falls Down. You've collaborated with and featured a number of stars in your music, including Chris Brown, Rosie Ribbons, Tupac, Macy Gray, and Ghostface Killer, to name just a few. There is a ton of stuff to talk about with you. Thank you so much for joining us on the show here. And please tell us more.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. All those names you just mentioned, they were brilliant features. I really enjoyed doing them, amongst others. Also, you can add Snoop Dogg and DMX in there. Obviously, DMX and Tupac passed away. So these were kind of verses and things. I'm friends with Tupac's stepbrother, Mopreem Shakur. Okay. So I kind of got the all clear from the Tupac estate. The Shakur estate. Faney, his mother, passed away too, so it was very difficult to get that. I'm very privileged. I think Eminem was after it as well, but I'm very pleased that I got that. So that's one of my favorite songs. Yeah, that was a good list you actually took out of my Wikipedia there. So I'm really happy you chose those names because there were some really cool ones in there. Yeah.
So how did you get into the rap?
Tupac, to be honest. I mean, when I first listened to him, Dear Mama, I saw Juice and I became a fan of him and his music, but his first album didn't really touch me as much as like when I heard Dear Mama and it's all over MTV and the box. And I just thought, this guy's talking about how much he loves his own mother. And I thought that was so cool, like, because I was writing, songs back then. I couldn't really sing that well, so I had to rap because I couldn't sing. So I was writing poetry and I just thought this guy's like, a gentle giant kind of thing. He's a gangster and he's a G, but also he can rap about, he's the only person that I ever knew that could rap about loving his mum. That really inspired me. And then I wrote a song with Ed Sheeran called Hey Mama. Because Tupac had the Dear Mama and stuff, and that inspired that song when we were very young. He was about 16, I was 19 or something. That kind of inspired me, but I wrote down loads of poetry as a kid, just all my kind of fears, anxieties, and insecurities and everything, when I was at school, and it was just words, and it felt like therapy to me, so it had just come out of me, and then I felt better. So I turned that, into my career, because I just thought, wow, this makes me feel good. I listen to a lot of music. I'm from Bristol in the UK. I was born in St. Paul, so it's predominantly a black area, and it's full of Caribbean, West Indian kind of sound systems everywhere. So I grew up on reggae a lot, and I just kind of grew up with that pulse, and just like hip hop was a natural progression from that. And I never really looked back. Started collaborating with Ed when we were kids, teenagers, and he's from Suffolk, so he was kind of out that he's more into the guitar singer songwriter thing. So we kind of put together. Yeah. And I was rapping, he was playing guitar. I was on the MPC drum machine. He would sing, I would rap, and it was perfect. So we got the drums, got the melody, and I would do the raps. And then we thought we were massive, and we thought we deserved to sign to a record label, and no one would. So we just made our own. And I opened a label called Urban Angel Records, but we were never really a label. We just thought we were cool because we signed to ourselves. We thought, we were signed, and we could tell everyone we were signed, because back then that was the thing. But now I'm independent, and I'm still releasing on Urban Angel, and Ed's with Warner, and he's doing his thing. But that was the start. But since then, it's kind of taken off. We've gone our different ways, and right now, I'm working with all these legends that are my peers when I was growing up and people I looked up to. It was a long struggle. I've been doing music since 2004 when I released my first CD, if anyone remembers CDs listening. Right now, I'm doing a new album, and I'm actually working with Mopreem on it as well. I've got some amazing artists, and I'm also producing the soundtrack for a new movie called it's the Van Gogh, the artist Van Gogh. It's the new movie.
Wow.
Kira, the producer and writer, she's from New York. She's out there, and we've got a little team in south of France. And I performed at the Cannes Music Festival straight after the film festival, and they approached me there. I was headlining Mikan. Brilliant. Big up Mikan and everyone there. And never looked back. Yeah, we've got some big names on there. I met her with Macy Gray out in Denmark when I was there, because we've got a song together too. So she's going to be on the soundtrack. We've got various other people, a couple of people I can't mention, but Mopreem is going to be reading a poem. He's also an executive producer on it. Tupac, he wrote a dedication to Van Gogh. It's a poem.
Wow.
He was actually one of his favorite artists. he loved the song Starry, Starry Night, which was by Don McLean. It's quite a sad story, this, but that was his favorite song. And this was about Van Gogh, Starry, Starry Night. If anyone knows Don McLean's, it's a famous song and Ed covered it. Loads of people have covered it. His mother, Fanny, in Las Vegas, when he was shot, after 6 or 7 days, they decided to turn off life support machine. They played that song in the room out loud over and over and over again. His sister Sakiwa was there, and that's when he passed away listening to that song. So it's something that no one knows about, but I'm really pleased that Mo Prima's on board with this. And Mutula Shakur, his father, just recently passed away, so shout out Mutula and the whole Shakur family. I'm so pleased that they're on board with this project. So that's kind of where my focus is at the moment. I'm also doing my own production and my own album, as well as doing lots of remixes with likes of Chris Brown and people like that. So it's exciting times.
Yeah, I can tell you're having fun at it.
Yeah, having a lot of fun. I'm also I just had a meeting with a Russian artist. He's a billionaire, and he's absolutely amazing, and he's such a creative talent. And his name's Emin. He's from Azerbaijan. I can't really pronounce it every time, but I'm going out to do a festival called Dream Fest with Jason Derulo and Ricky Martin, and Ember Hurt, Humperdinck, and Nicole Scherzinger. So that's my next real big show.
Keep your head up, you know what I mean? Flying around the world, having fun, making money. Yeah. What else would you want to do?
There we go. So that's what I've just come back from now. So I'm really excited because it was confirmed today. So that's an exclusive for you. But it's called Dream Fest. You can follow it on you can see all the great acts, and there's some brilliant global world music talent going there as well. So
global music, man, that's right up our alley,
Absolutely. I mean, there's more global kind of music going there, and a lot of artists I don't know, because it's kind of like there's a circuit with Dubai and Turkey and Azerbaijan and Russia and Ukraine, and there's this big circuit out there that in the Western world we don't really know about, but when you see the talent of these artists and music, we're talking 60 million followers on Instagram and things, and you haven't heard their name before. I'm excited to penetrate that new market and see what happens.
I love it. Tom?
Well, there's a ton of questions I have for you, Jethro. First of all, your professional name, Alonestar, where did that come from? Is there any particular sort of reasoning behind that?
There was actually. It's a good question because I always kind of, when I was younger, I was a bit, not a loner. I had loads of friends, but I always liked to do my music alone because I wasn't really into the same kind of stuff as everyone else. And I was doing poetry, as I said. And I was probably, 12 years old, 13 or so, around that age. And we just moved into a new house. And this thing kept popping in my head, Lone Star, because I'm alone a lot of the time and things like that. Yeah. But I'd like to be a big star, whatever. And we moved into this big house, and I took the biggest room in the top floor. And my mum was like, we didn't have curtains at the time because we literally just moved in. And I had a futon, the Japanese beds back then in the 80s, 90s, whatever. So I was on that, and she would turn the light off for me to go to bed at 8, 9 o'clock, whatever. Bedtime now, rah, rah, rah. I remember I used to put my pen and pad underneath the futon, and there was this big bright light that came through the window, because there was no curtains. It beamed down to my bed. So I used to just get out my pen and pad and just write all these lyrics. And then that was, I think it was the North Star or some bright star that was shining down. I just came up with this, I'm alone underneath a star writing my lyrics. And I just went Alonestar. So that's really where the name came from. And it came from when I was really young. And that was my sort of poet name, as it were, I thought. So I ran with it. I still go with it to this day. If you can, I got it tattooed right here. I got it on my chest. Too. But the crazy thing is, I went back to that house, more than 10 years later. And I was walking up the steps and I was looking at the front garden, and it looked so small to what I remembered. I thought it's a huge front garden. Then I looked up and I see a street lamp shining into the front room window, into my bedroom window. So I never knew if it's actually a star or it's a street lamp that I never could be tall enough to look at and see it was a street lamp shining. So I was like, is it a street lamp that was there, or was it actually a star? So I never got that out, but I haven't been back there to see the North Star shining through at nighttime. But regardless, it's a great story to tell, but that's where it came from. Cool. So Thank
you.
You know what's wonderful, man, is that every time you see this light, the light comes on.
Yeah, it's mad. Whether it's a street lamp or not, but I'm pretty sure it was a star. It was North Star. I remember seeing it. I remember, climbing up and looking and whatever. Yeah, I do remember there was a reason for it, and I think that street lamp might have come years later. So it was just I can't remember, like when I was a kid and stuff. But whether it was or not, it's a great story, and it to me it's still real. So
but the light inspires you to write.
Down on
Yeah.
that.
It gave me light to write spiritually and also physically because it was a dark room. But when I got curtains put in and I had to open them and then the light would come through and stuff. But yeah, the light inspired me to write. Very
Hey,
good.
that's a lyric, man. That's a lyric.
There you go.
We got to put it in a
Right there.
song somewhere.
Absolutely. I'm going to do that, Skyler. That's brilliant.
Yes, my brothers. Listen, music for global change, is about doing positive lyrical content, man, to change the narrative, right? All we hear is bad news. Who were some of your social conscious music heroes?
Bob Marley was #1 when I was a child, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like, I'm going to say that, but, I could go with something, Hugh Mundell or something like that, who's a big reggae artist. He was a young kid and he was murdered. There's a lot of jealous people. He was around in the early 70s or something, but he was, I was brought up in a lot of reggae. So Bob Marley, definitely 100%. And then people like Nas and Tupac, Fleetwood Mac. I love Fleetwood Mac when I was growing up. A lot of like Grace Jones, 80s music was a big influence in a lot of my stuff now because I use a lot of synthy kind of sounds and I liked the kind of 80s sound. People like James Brown, Michael Jackson.
What specific songs?
I think Sade, her No Ordinary Love. That's one of my favorite songs. Dear Mama by Tupac. I loved Mazzy Star. Fade Into You was one of my favorite songs, which no one really would expect me to say. Her name's Hope Sandoval, and the band was called Mazzy Star. Fade Into You. You should check it out if you don't know it. Everyone out there, that's an amazing song. But I was always into kind of everything. I love classical. The only thing I didn't really get down with was like really hard metal. Because and fast guitars, never really into that. Yeah, so that was the only sound. But I'd love classical music. I'd love like Enya, spiritual. I used to listen to Native American flutes and things like that. So, and I incorporated that.
Some people get like, I only listen to this kind of music, or only play that kind of music. It's 12 notes. You can play anything you want.
Anything, yeah, exactly, absolutely.
Open your mind up, you know what I'm saying?
But I was just inspired. And when I got into music really was when I was watching movies. So I remember the first time I watched the film Jaws, I was scared to death when I first saw that film. And I couldn't sleep that night. I was chucking my knees into my chest. I thought a shark was after me like the whole time. And then I watched it again without the sound on. It just happened to be off, the sound. And it's in the background. And I didn't feel anything. Like I didn't feel, and it was that dun 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 dun, and it was all the soundtrack. And then I'd watch films, that make you cry or laugh, and I usually felt there was the music that made you feel that emotion.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I would just like watch Raiders of the Lost Ark or whatever, and then without all that music and stuff, it's just big action going on in the background. It's like a cartoon with no real thing going on. So I thought, shit, this is the music that really makes you feel these emotions. It can make you laugh, it can make you cry, and you associate, there's a lot of nostalgic kind of feelings with music. Like if I listen to Betty Davis' Eyes back in, I think of my mom and stuff like that. So it takes you places that you never really feel that you would go, especially on movies and stuff. So I thought, wow, this is something that really is like brings out your feelings and emotions. And this is what I want to do spiritually. And if I can help others by changing the way they feel. When MySpace was around, which was a few years back now, if anyone, it was like the Facebook, but it was like the social media.
Way back
now. There you go.
Yeah. It's the first time you could really connect with people in other countries without, visually, and you'd have their picture in front of you, you could talk to them and stuff like that. And the same song that I put the American native flutes on was called Catalyst. It's out now. You can go and check it out, Alonestar Catalyst. And this woman in America who had some kids that went to their 2 sons that they were in some war. I think it's the Iraq War, and they both died. She was on her own and she'd lost everything, and she just thought her life was over. And she literally told me, she wrote me this email or letter on MySpace, said that she had actually put a rope up to commit suicide because she lost her son. While she was doing it, you had an automatic play on MySpace at one time or something like that, and the song Catalyst was actually playing in the background. And while she was kind of doing what she was doing, she said she was blind drunk and crying, and she was just in despair. But listening to that song changed her mind, and she's alive to this day, and she didn't commit suicide. And I thought, wow. So I always hold on to that I saved a life with my music. And that's what inspired me to write. This is actually what I do, because I've already saved one person in this world or change their mind with music. And if we can do it, exactly what you said, Skylar, you know, the positivity and helping others and really kind of making a change with music for the positive, not just to make money or sign to a label or just touring for the sake of it. If you can really touch people with songs, it's forever in their heart, and it's just ongoing
But
forever, isn't it? I mean, music's timeless. I mean, it's going to be around forever. All my songs will be in the ether somewhere forever. Like,
that's what we have to build and inspire. And when I teach young people, I go, you know what? I don't want you to pay me no money, but I want you to go teach somebody younger than you.
exactly, pass it forward, absolutely, and that's what I try and do in every gig I do. You know, live hard, love strong. That's my motto, and I try and do exactly the same. And I think if more big artists did that, you know, I mean, that's why I gravitated towards Bob Marley. I just loved his positivity in his music. It was
That's
brilliant music, and also he made a huge change, especially in Jamaica, with, you know, when he put the two political parties together at a concert that, you know, they were killing each other over the election and things like that, and he just brought them together, and he got shot over it himself. He changed that whole thing forever. We don't really have artists like that anymore. I mean, you've got the Justin Biebers and the Ed Sheerans, which are fantastic and they're brilliant, but, you know, the Bob Marleys and the Tupacs and the, you know, the Bob Dylans and what have you, that's where I was kind of born into. So
we have to shine the light on
yeah,
those.
shine the light. Great word for great.
We have to shine. We have to shine the light on those who are doing positive things, but don't get any credit for it. And they're not asking for it neither. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
there's
like
a
you
lot of
said,
things.
you don't pay me, but just pass more the information, the love I'm giving you, pass it forward, and I think that's amazing and great job, man.
But I'm out to celebrate those people that are, you know, earth angels,
Earth
right?
Angels, man. Yeah. Urban
They in
Angel is my record label name. So
the
same thing, man. Shine the light and just pass it forward and help others. Yeah. I mean, music to me is about the spirit first. Always a conflict between business and art. So I always go with the art first, or I try to. But then when kind of all these deals come in and then it's all about money and managers and all these people around you, they want to kind of make money for themselves, but you kind of divert from what you're really trying to do. And sometimes you'll be heard more with a commercial song, maybe a pop song or something, or a dance song or something, but you know, you might not get as many listens if you really speak in your mind on something, because you know, people just like to go crazy on the week. It's like weekend music, I call it, you know, pop weekend music. But I hope the kind of, you know, the Bob Marleys and the Tupacs and the Marvin Gaye, amazing. I didn't listen to so much. I love Prince, I love John Lennon. I grew up on that too. Imagine's probably in my top 10, definitely.
These are social conscious songs, man. Those artists became bigger after they wrote some social conscious songs, because Marvin was writing a lot of love songs and the ladies going crazy, and the record companies like, what you mean you want to do some social conscious music? He said, yeah, man, I got to tell people what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where that came from. And being John Lennon, imagine peace. You know what I mean?
That song gives me, every time I listen to it, for some reason, I get goosebumps, and it reminds me of part of my life when I was young that it was just magical. And also, Muller Kintar by Paul McCartney does the same thing. Also, I mean, this is going quite far back now, but you know, this is when I really listened to music and I went, wow, like this really like makes me like, you know, goosebumps and hairs come up on my arm, and I was listening to it as a kid, and I didn't really know. And then I got a second influx of like, when I really heard it and understood it, it was just the music and the sound, his voice and things that made me like that when I was young. But when I really thought, oh my God, and it made sense to me when I was older, I doubled up. I was like, oh my God, now I understand. And it's even more amazing. And it's just like, it's definitely in my top 10, Imagine.
You know, like you mentioned Michael Jackson, he wrote Heal the World. There's a lot of, you know, people write a lot of love songs, but it's not until when they do one of those songs about social conscious, about songs that heal and educate and solve problems, but with any kind of notes you want, any kind of instruments you want, you can have it all. As long as the lyrics are not about yourself, but to heal others, you know.
Yeah.
Listen, my brother. Bless you for the privilege of your time to come on our show, man, the last minute like this.
It's all my pleasure. Thank you for having me. It's a blessing to be on your show. I've seen the list of people you worked with, and you're absolutely incredible, amazing, and you work with some mega stars. So it's a privilege for me, for you, and to be on with you and Tom.
Just want to know for our listeners what sort of social media, if anything, that you're on that people can see what it is you do and maybe catch up with what you've got planned.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on all the social media platforms. I think if you Google my name, Jethro Sheeran, or Alonestar is my artist name, you'll get somewhere. But on Instagram is where I'm most active, and that's at Alonestar Sheeran, all one word, Alonestar Sheeran. Facebook's the same. I'm on Twitter too, Alonestar1. So you can Google my name, Jethro Sheeran, and it kind of you'll find me, because Alonestar and Jethro Sheeran comes together. But everyone out there listening, thanks for listening. And hit me up, and I'm always looking for collaborations. Like I told you, Skyler, I love to work with different genres. So anyone out there doing any kind of genre, I'm up for creating music and just changing the world.
I love it. Listen, I'm gonna stay up on you. I'll be up on you, brother.
Okay? Yeah, man. Absolutely. Bless. Love.
Much love. Much love.
Much love. Bless. Peace.
Music can save the world. Music can save the world. If we all get together, music can save the world. Yeah. Music can save the world. Music can save the world. If we all come together, music can save the world. There's an urgency facing our humanity.
Thank you so much for watching. To stay up to date, please click subscribe and hit the bell. You can also join our group on Facebook and find us on LinkedIn and Instagram.